Hello and welcome. My name is Mark. This is Riffle Shuffle and Roll, and today we're going to be talking about a little game called Kernel. If it's your first time visiting the channel, be sure to hit subscribe and the bell so you're notified about new games every week. Kernel is a rummy game for 2 players. In this game, players will be managing their hand and building melds. Now, unlike gin rummy, where players are simply trying to build melds as quickly as possible to end the round, in Kernel, players need to focus on building high-valued melds, because in the end, it's not the player who goes out first that wins. It is the player with the most points that wins the game. If you're looking for some new 2-player rummy games, I've got an ebook for you down in the description. It is free. Just click the link and you can download it, print it, and share it all you like. Within that booklet is a lot of different gin rummy variants, as well as completely different 2-player rummy games that really change up the rules. All right, so now let's jump in and learn how to play Kernel. All you need to play Kernel is a 52 card deck. All right, in this game, 2s are low and aces are high. And that's something that sets Kernel apart from gin rummy, is that the ace is always high. It cannot be played low. The first type of meld is called a run. A run is 3 or more cards in sequential order and in the same suit. So here's a run of clubs, 3, 4, 5. And here's a run of hearts, queen, king, ace. Remember, in this game, aces are only high, so you could not play an ace 2, 3 of heart run. That would be illegal. The other type of meld is called a set. A set is 3 or 4 cards of the same rank. So we have a set of 4s, or here we have a set of queens. Deal 10 cards to each player. Make sure that you do not show your opponent your hand. For this video, we're going to play with the cards exposed, but when the cards are in your hand, they should not be seen by your opponent. The rest of the cards go in the center as the stockpile, and then you turn up 1 card to begin the discard pile. The game begins with the non-dealer going first. We will have the player at the bottom of the screen go first. On your turn, you may begin by drawing a card from the top of the stock or the discard pile. Here we will draw 1 card from the stock. This card is added to their hand, and after drawing, the player may analyze their hand and see if they have any melds. A player can lay any melds to the table at any time, but of course this can only be done on your turn. Once you lay a meld to the table, you are no longer allowed to add cards to it. There is no laying off in this game. So once you have analyzed your hand and decided whether or not you want to lay any melds to the table, your turn is over and you may discard a card to the discard pile. So here player 1 is going to go ahead and discard the 8 of spades. Discarding ends your turn. Play passes to the opposite player. Player 2 begins their turn by drawing from the stock as well. They drew a jack. They add that to their hand, and they decide that they are going to discard the ace of spades. Discarding the ace of spades ends their turn. Play returns to player 1. They draw from the draw pile as well. And they are first going to lay this set of 2s down. So we'll place that off to the side. And then they are going to discard the jack of clubs. And that ends their turn. Player 2 draws the jack of clubs, adds it to their hand, and they decide to lay this set of jacks. They end their turn by discarding this 5 of clubs. Player 1 begins their turn by drawing the 5 of clubs. That gives them a set of 5s. They're going to go ahead and lay that to the table. And they are going to get rid of their 4 of clubs. And play passes back to player 2. They draw a card. They do not want the Queen of Hearts, so they discard it. Play like this continues until the end of the game. So we've fast forwarded a little bit here in the game, and we've come upon an interesting situation that you might come across while playing. Both players have melded as many cards as they can to the table, and that has left them both with 1 card. Neither of them are able to lay off because that's not allowed. And each turn, they're going to have to draw and discard. So they're stuck with 1 card and no way to meld it. So for all intents and purposes, this game is over. So this is one way to know that it's time to stop. We'll talk about keeping score here in a moment. The other way for a game to end is for the stock to completely run out of cards. Once that occurs, the game is over. And again, we'll talk about how to score that situation here in a moment. The final way to end the round is for a player to meld all of their cards to the table. Now, when scoring in this game, all of the numbered cards are worth the value of the number on the card. So 2s are worth 2 points, 3s are worth 3 points, and so on. All of the face cards and the ace are worth 10 points each. All right, now, as for scoring, let's talk about the situation that happened for this example. We basically came to a standstill during the game, and it automatically ended because each player only had 1 card left in their hand. So let's figure out what the score is for each player. Players only earn points for the melds that they laid to the table. So that means if the game ends and players have melds in their hand, they do not get points for that. So here at the bottom, player 1 still had 10 points left in their hand. So let's go ahead and cancel out that 10 points with these 2 5s. We'll remove that. And let's look at what they have left. Looking here at the bottom, it looks like player 1 has 20 points earned for the game. Let's look at player 2. Player 2 still had a king left in their hand, so that's 10 points to remove. And they are left with 20, 50, 64, 71. 71 points. So in this example, player 2 wins the game with 71 points. That's something I'll talk about here at the end, but I think you'll see that's what makes this game a different sort of challenge than Gin, because it is not necessarily who goes out first. It is the quality of the melds that wins the game. Now, in a situation where one of the players actually goes out and melds all of their cards to end the game, they earn points equal to all the melds that they created, and then the opposite player will find the difference between their melds and the cards left in their hand. It doesn't matter whether they're melded or not. They find the difference, and that's their score. Whoever has the highest score wins the game. Again, just because one of the players goes out, that doesn't mean they're going to win. And that's how to play Kernel. As you can see, this is a very different game from Gin Rummy. It's not so much about speed as it is about building quality melds that are going to score you a lot of points. And you don't even have to go out. You can drag the game on to a point where the draw pile or the stock runs out of cards, or neither player is able to play anymore, which ends the game. And at that point, whoever has the most points wins. So you could go out first and lose. I think that is a really interesting idea for this game, especially if you're used to something like gin rummy, where going out means that you win. So that really changes the dynamic of the game. Don't forget to check the description for multiple links leading to my friends over at GameRules.com, the free ebook full of 2-player rummy games, my Reddit page, the Board Game Geek page, and the Discord channel. All right, that is it for now. Until next time, keep on playing.